Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be yet another bulk cooking for the week video with myself and my husband. We've just decided to cook together because it gets everything done in half of the time. 2 hands are better than 1, or should I say 4 in this case. But I've decided to share with you guys the meals we're going to be making for this week, including some of the recipes. And if you haven't seen my previous bulk cooking for the week videos, I will leave them linked below. So we're going to kickstart off the recipes with the salmon, and we like to have fish at least twice a week. And I'm going to show you guys how my husband likes to marinate his. I do it very differently. If you want to see how I cook my salmon, you should probably follow me on my Instagram where I have a cooking highlights. But he likes to add salt, pepper, some peri-peri seasoning, some paprika, a tad bit of olive oil and a bit of cayenne pepper, a little bit of mixed herbs, and then he uses that as a rub. And to do this, you want to make sure that your salmon is dry and not wet, just so that the herbs and spices stick to it like a glue, if that makes sense. And once that's done and he's marinated it really well, as you can see, he will use some parchment paper on a tray and he'll put it in the oven for around 20 minutes. And another thing that I want you guys to not do is, once you turn the oven off, don't leave the salmon in, which is something my husband's done. Once the oven's off, take it out because the oven is still hot even if it is turned off. So now he's moving on to making his famous spaghetti bolognese sauce, and he's using red, white onions. He's not really fast. He's even going to add in the garlic, which isn't something I would do personally. He has his own way of cooking, and once he's added in his already chopped onions in the chopper, which doesn't make sense, but okay, he will add some olive oil in a pan and a little bit of butter just so that it can heat up whilst he chops up the onions and garlic. I would usually caramelize my onions and then add the garlic later, you know, in stages, but you know, everybody has different ways of doing things. So once he's added in the chopped onion and garlic into the pan of olive oil and butter, gives it a quick mix, he will then use that same chopper and add in 1 tin tomato and a handful of washed coriander with the stems. He made it a point to really tell me that the stems are really important because they're very flavorful and people just chuck them out, and you shouldn't. It's full of flavor. And then he goes in to add his spices. The spices that he's added in are, I believe, paprika, yep, there we go, mixed herbs, black pepper and a bit of cumin. Sorry, I can't give you guys specific measurements. It all depends on how much or how little of the spaghetti sauce that you're making. And then he adds in a bit of tomato puree, and this is what helps bind everything together, so you create almost like a paste, and just cook it off for a few minutes. And once that's done, he adds in his beef mince. We do always ask the butchers to make sure that it gets off as much fat as possible. That's why it looks really lean, just so that when you cook it there isn't much fat dripping off it. This is just the way we like it. And then once it's all mixed up into the spices, he adds in the tomato with the coriander that he just blended up earlier, mixes it all up, pops the lid on top and adds a bit of water, and then that's it, that's that done. And then when it's gotten to this stage, he adds in a bit more tomato puree. It's what gives it that really red rich color that we love our bolognese sauce to have. So if you like that red rich color, add a lot of tomato puree. And once the lid's on, we just leave it to cook. And now I'm moving on to making my curry. I'm making chicken curry, and to do this I just chop up, I think, 3 white onions and I put it into the chopper. If you are bulk cooking, the best thing to do is just chop up all the onions that you're going to be using to cook different dishes, so that you just use it as of and when, if that makes sense. And then I get my big pan that I like to use when I'm making curries, add a bit of oil, add in the onions, and this is where I like to caramelize my onions. I don't really like to add the onions with the garlic together. So once the onions have a nice color to them and are translucent, just like this is the stage where I will add my chopped garlic, or grated mostly. I will let the garlic and the onions fry together until the garlic has a bit of color, and then I'll add in my spices. And I'm using lemon pepper seasoning, a bit of cumin, a bit of garam masala, a little bit of turmeric and some Cajun seasoning. And once all the spices are in, it will look a bit like this. I'll give it a quick mix and just create some sort of a paste. You just want to cook off the spices for about 2 minutes, and if you find that the spices are sticking onto the pan, just add a tad bit of water at a time, and you want it to create a paste like this. And the way you know that the spices are fully cooked is when you see the oil separates from the paste, a bit like this. Now you know it's time to add in your meats. If you don't want to add meats, you can add vegetables, your favorite vegetables. You can add in lamb, you can add in beef, you don't have to use chicken. But we are using baby chicken cut up into 8 pieces with skin off. This particular one had skin on, and I just had my husband get rid of it because I wanted the spices and the paste to coat the chicken really nicely. So I fried the chicken for about 2 minutes just so that it gets coated in the paste fully and there's no more pinkness in the chicken. Once the chicken is kind of cooked, like maybe halfway cooked, I will add in a couple of teaspoons of full fat yogurt. Don't use the 0% fat yogurts or anything like that. It has to be full fat. And then mixing the chicken with the spices and the yogurts, making sure it coats the chicken. Once that's done, and then it'll be time to add in the hot boiling kettle water. This just speeds up the cooking process as opposed to adding cold water. At this stage I will add in my potatoes once the chicken's halfway cooked. Mix it all up. I'll put the lid on and then let it cook away for about 20 minutes. And whilst I was doing that, my husband made this lovely little couscous and beans dish. I'm not sure what it is, but he did it really quickly so I couldn't show you guys. And now I'm just adding in the finishing touches to the curry, which is just some chopped tomatoes with the garnishing of coriander. Put the lid on and just turn it off, and that's the chicken curry done. And I had a bit too much coriander left over, so I just decided to sprinkle it and garnish the spaghetti bolognese sauce, which I didn't need to, but coriander always makes everything better. Wouldn't you agree? This is everything that we made for this week. We were going away on the Friday, so we just wanted something to last us Monday to Thursday. So this is the spaghetti bolognese with the spaghetti. We just didn't want to have to cook absolutely anything, so we did boil the spaghetti. Yes, I know it doesn't take time at all. We also made some chicken just for packed lunches and quesadillas, and this is the couscous with beans and the salmon. And lastly, we have the chicken curry with the white coconut rice. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this by commenting down below. We want to see more videos like this. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in my next one. Take care. Bye.